first time I felt afraid because of my race. The type of fear that feels like you've just been punched in the gut and immediately you need to pee your pants was when I was walking to school with my two friends when a car raced past, screeched to a halt, reversed all the way back to us, and proceeded to cuss me out. I didn't know what to do at the time, so I thought, I'm just going to keep walking to school. The driver responded by continuously reversing and following me, sticking her body out of the passenger door, yelling, "Who the fuck do you think you are? This isn't your country. Go back to where you belong." So I kept walking to school. She got pissed off and yelled out, "You better watch your fucking back." Those incidents quickly became the norm post 9/11. I was 10. Of course, I felt frustrated at what was happening, but I quickly learned that I needed to have my own back, and no one else was going to stand up for myself other than me. Despite putting on a brave face, however, that's actually what it was. It was a brave face. So it still took a toll on me. When I would come back home from school, hysterically crying and yelling at my mother because I was not happy with what she had made for dinner, she knew there was something I was not telling her. And my mother, being my mother, got it out of me. Our relationship quickly turned into one of me telling her absolutely everything because, quite frankly, there's no point in even trying to keep a secret from her. The frustrations I felt morphed into anger and justice as well. I wanted to go back to Iraq and somehow fix it so that I could leave this country that I wasn't welcome in and go back. But I knew that Iraq wasn't the only place that needed help, and so my fascination began with volunteering. In my final year of development studies, when volunteer services abroad came into my class and talked about the univoul program, I was only too happy to apply. I was given the privilege of going to Samoa for 10 months and volunteering with the Samoa Association of National Sports and Olympic Committee, so SASNOC for short. On my first day in Samoa, my fellow VSA flatmates and I decided to go for a walk and familiarize ourselves with our new home for the year. So we're walking down this road, dodging the cars because there are no footpaths, picking up rocks every 2 steps so that we could have some ammunition against the dogs that were running after us. We stumbled across a billboard that said plantation boxing. 10-year-old me was immediately fascinated. We decided to go and try out a class, and I quickly fell in love. So after riding my bike to work, I would take it back and go to the gym. Now the gym, if you could imagine, you had to go over this huge rickety bridge. It had 2 very thin poles on either side. You walked over that and you come across a huge concrete slab that had barbed wire around it, beautiful trees and bush around. And we had 3 size tires, a couple of weights, and then ropes that marked out what would be the boxing ring. On my first time there, I found out that the owners of the gym grew up where I grew up and went to my brother's school, so shout out to Calston Girls. And my fitness quickly progressed. I even got the nickname War Machine because I could keep up with the boys. Whether or not that had anything to do with me being Arab, well, I don't know. Fast forward 4 months, and the owner of the gym walks up to me. This big Samoan ex-All Black comes up and he goes, "Thoraya, you should fight." And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, and ignore him. This happens the day after that, and I'm like, okay, enough. Thinking that he's poking fun at me and there's some sort of inside joke and the boys want to see if I actually think I could do it. But I started to get an ego and I was like, maybe I could actually fight. So when he mentions it again, I say, okay, cool. Do you think I could do it? And he goes, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, but I don't want to be made a fool of. Like, if I can hold my own in a fight and I'm not going to get a hiding, I'd be keen. And he said yes. So I was like, okay, this could potentially happen. I walked back home and was thinking why I would want to fight. I knew I wanted to fight because I have this thing of proving people wrong. And I just assume that everyone looks at me and sees a headscarf and they're like, okay, she can't do anything. So I was like, if I get in the ring and just like knock someone out, that'd be so cool. And I talk through my problems. And the person I talked to was my mother. But there was absolutely no way in hell I was going to call my mum up and be like, yo, so I kind of want to fight against a local. So I didn't tell her. I go back to the gym and I ask the other co-owner, Baba, his son, and I say, hey, Baba, do you think I could fight? And Baba's super chill. He's like, yeah, for sure. But because I'm an overthinker, I didn't trust him. And I was like, no, but do you really think I could fight? And this goes on for a while, and then he just snaps. He goes, yes, Raya, you can fight, but you'll just have to train harder in the morning. And so that's exactly what I did. My height, I'm 5'1". I was 57 kgs, 22 years old, so that's not very common in Samoa. They kept poking fun and they were like, you know, Thoraya, we're probably going to find a preschooler for you to fight. And actually during training, I had to go up against the 10-year-old boys. But I got some good punches in. So I start training in the morning, and it's a lot easier when you have a goal to wake up at 5 a.m. And I still don't have a partner. I've only got 3 months to fight, and I tell myself, if they don't find a partner, all good, I'm going to be super ripped. Not that anyone could see. 2 days before the fight night, we have a press release. So I go along, still no one to go up against, and I'm sitting in the audience, and all the boys are trying to like psych each other out when Inga goes, okay, so open up for interviews. We finished here. And it was like a stampede coming towards me, and all I could think was, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, please, 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 please don't expect me to speak fluent Samoan, because that's just not going to happen. And I didn't have much fear up until this point, but then once my face was in the newspapers and on TV, I was like, crap, people are going to know that I'm going to fight, and I do not look Samoan, I'm very clearly not one of them. They're going to start hating on me and tell me that I don't belong in their country, just like I was told when I was 10 years old, and I actually don't belong in this country, so what am I supposed to say? And very quickly, I noticed people started recognizing me as more than the random material wearing on her head girl that rides her bike to work. And they were like, oh, so you're going to fight? Yeah, I'm rooting for you, man. Like, good luck, good luck. And I was thinking, this is just because I don't have an opponent that everyone wants to support me. Weigh-in comes along, and Inga walks up to me with a smirk on his face, and I don't know if it's a good smirk or not. And he goes, hey, Thoraya, I found you an opponent, and man, is she going to give you a run for your money. And I was like, Inga, you're supposed to be on my side. Why would you find someone that's going to be hard for me? So I asked, how tall is she? What's her weight? Does she have experience? She did have experience, not a whole lot, but more than me. And the fight night comes along, and I'm hovering above the ground, and I just cannot keep still, and I'm pestering all the boys, asking them, how do I hold my hands? What are my footwork like? Do I keep moving my head? Like, do I try and growl in the middle of a fight to psych her out? And so they're giving me combinations to use so I can remember. And I'm wearing a headscarf, long sleeves, tights, a wrap, boxing gloves, headgear, a mouth guard. Left the backstage. So I walk out, and my nerves are killing me because I'm expecting everyone to boo and laugh at me for even giving this a go. Thankfully, Beyonce had my back and was reminding me that girls run the world when I walk out. So I walk out, and all of a sudden I hear all this cheering, and I look over and I see the VSA family, and I love it. I go in and immediately shut the crowd out and tell myself to not pay attention to anyone, as I do when people are bullying me. My cornerman finally had my back after poking fun of me backstage. And round 1 goes. We step in and I do not remember much other than the referee calling me to a corner. Now I stand there and I'm like, the referee only ever does this if you've thrown a really, really good punch that he needs to check your opponent is fine to go on. So I'm like, okay, I didn't even try to do it. And then he goes, okay, go back. We go back, and straight away I get called to the corner. I've thrown another good punch. And I'm like, damn, if I throw one more good punch, that's a technical knockout in the first round. I am killing it. The first round ends. Then the second round goes, and I'm exhausted. My hands are not staying up. I'm just slower. I'm not calling in her shots as I am. And the crowd can see that I'm tired. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And all of a sudden, I start hearing, red, red, go red. Needless to say, I was in the red corner. And I just stop in my tracks. And I'm like, what, people are cheering for me? I thought they'd be booing. And I look around and I see SASNOC, my partner organization, watching me, and they're all off their seats. And I'm like, they're never off their seats, so I must be doing something good. Second round ends. I go off. I'm exhausted. I think Dora's won that round. The third round goes. We're in. And again, the cheering's for me. People are starting to say my name. It's amazing. And all of a sudden, my nerves go from being scared I'm going to get booed to, damn, I really want to win this all of a sudden. Then that ends. I quickly rip off my gloves and my mouth guard and my headgear. I just want to get naked at this point because I am so sweaty. And then we get called back in for the announcement, which happened really, really fast. And I remember sticking my head down because I just did not want the cameras to get my reaction if I lost. And the loudspeaker goes, and the winner in the red corner for SASNOC, Thoraya from Dubai! Now I just had to tell my mother. So the next morning she calls and she goes, oh Thoraya, so how did the fight night go? You were helping, right? So like you had to serve drinks? And I was like, yeah, it went super well, especially because I won my fight. And she goes, oh my gosh, good on you, you won your fight. Wait, you what?